Flosstube. Welcome back to A Nurse and Her Needle. It has been about 2 weeks since my last video, and I have a ton of stuff to share with you. I have some whips and some starts and one fully start and finish and some haul, lots of plans, all sorts of things. So I'm super excited to get into it today. Life has been busy. We had my parents visit one weekend, my husband's parents visit one weekend. The garden's been busy. We've been trying to do all the canning and all that stuff, and just lots of stuff going on. Today we ordered lunch from a new Indian restaurant in the town where I work. And they just opened up this week, and when I say it's the best Indian food of my life, I'm not joking. I feel like we've lived a few places and I love Indian food. It was phenomenal. I don't even think I'm going to eat dinner tonight because I ate so much, but it is phenomenal. So if you are in Wausau, Wisconsin at all anytime soon, it is right off of Highway 51. And it's called Zaika, I think I'm saying that right, Z-A-I-K-A, India Gourmet. Delicious. Highly recommend. Had to just put a shameless plug in there for that because they were so good and everything was so hot and just, it was so yummy. So, but yeah, that has been life and lots of fun things coming up. We're getting ready for, it's our 15-year anniversary trip. It was our 15-year anniversary this last summer, or this past summer, like a month ago. And we didn't really do anything, but in September, we are going out to Montana and going out to Glacier National Park. So I'm super excited for that and just lots of fun things to look forward to. So first and most importantly, I just want to do the giveaways from last video. Thank you to everybody who commented, all the sweet comments. I love that you're all here with me on this fun Flosstube journey. And so the first one I had was the Heart in Hand Christmas. So it was the Wee Santa 2022 and then the Winter Whirligig. That is going to go to Sprite 721. So I will put their handle up here. So if you can just message me either email or Instagram, either will work just fine. Message me your mailing address and I would love to get that out to you. So for the Heart in Hand Christmas patterns, it was Sprite 721. And then the other one was the watercolor leaves with the Karen watercolors that go with the pattern. And that is StateStitcherJaimeeH. So at StateStitcherJaimeeH. So again, if you want to just get that to me, I believe both of you are in the United States. If not, I may have to go back and pick again. But yeah, if you guys just want to get me your mailing address, I would love to get these out to you. If I haven't heard from you by the next video, probably in 2 weeks, I will probably pick again. So hopefully you can get a hold of me. Okay. So on the first, I think the first video I had, there were a couple people that said, I want to see like what, some things that you finished. And so I shared a couple that were back here. And I have a few more finishes. And so I'll just kind of share them like as the videos go, since I do have some finished pieces. So this one was called Hello Summer. This was a pattern that came in. I used to be a part of the Fat Quarter Club Cross Stitch Quarterly, and they would send like every 3 months, they'd send out, it would have like a pattern, the fabric, the floss, a needle, and then usually some sort of notion with it. And it was fun, but as my style kind of evolved with patterns and stuff, I kind of changed and no longer am a part of that. But this was a pattern I stitched up. It'd been sitting in storage and it is now sitting in my dough bowl, and it is a pillow. So this is just on whatever they're called for. It was just I think like a 14 count Aida, kind of a navy color. I don't know if that shows up. And then I just finished it on the back with some fun confetti kind of fabric. And then it's just filled with, finished with some poms around the side. They're not perfect. I know my corners aren't perfect, but it sits in my dough bowl and I like it and I don't get too worked up about it. I figure my pillows can only get better. So that's what's sitting in the dough bowl right now. And then the other one that I had, so this was a pattern that, this was probably one of the first patterns I picked up to do on linen. I had always stitched on Aida, so when I came back to cross stitch, I really wanted to try linen, and this was one of the first patterns I saw. I loved it. I stitched probably 2/3 of it, and then it got put in timeout because I miscounted horribly, and there was no way I was going to be able to fix it. But it is now complete. It was taken out of jail, and I just did a simple frame on it. It's not perfect, but this is Autumn. Is this Autumn Trees? Oh gosh. I think it's called Autumn Trees, and it's by Anna Lee Waite Designs. Oh, and you're gonna get a terrible glare. Hang on. Let me try and you're gonna get a bad glare from that light. There, we'll go like that. So that is Autumn Trees. It is with all the called for, which are all overdyes. This, I forget what the colors were, but this tree right here, I miscounted. So as I worked from the top down, it was too far over and it was gonna overlap this tree and I had to rip it out completely. And I had it done all the way to here. So it got put in timeout. And then when I brought it back, I finished the tree and then did the entire border, which was no joke, but I wouldn't change anything about it. The effect is amazing. That's Autumn Trees. So those are just a couple of finishes that I've had in the past couple years. And I think that was the only others. Okay, so I do have some whips, but I do actually have a finish, but it was also a start. So it was a start and finish. I don't know, is that a SAF? Yes, a SAF. So I just needed a project bag for a new start that you'll see in a little bit. And so that's what I made. It is nothing special. It is not perfect. But I'm gonna try and do this without showing the pattern that's inside of it. Just did it with this fabric I had laying around. Simple zipper, nothing crazy, but made a quick little project bag this weekend. So that was also a finish. Okay, so let's go right to the starts actually. I was gonna start with some of my whips, but I think I'm gonna go right to the starts. Okay, so the first one, and I've been talking about this is a birth sampler for my good friend. They are having a baby girl due in October, and she knows all about this, so I know she watches Flosstube every now and again, so she is not surprised by this. But this is Birth Samplers by Kathy Barrick, and I am doing this one here. And I am doing this on a 36 count crypt cloth by Lap and Loops, using almost all the called fors. So it calls for, probably gonna get a little bit of a glare, but there's white in it, if you can see kind of hanging down into those little hearts. That's just white. But for some reason on my fabric, it really ghosted. It just did not show up. I'm doing this 1/1, or 1/2, excuse me. But it just didn't show up the way I wanted it to. So I switched out the white. I switched it to, I think it was 613, DMC 613. Otherwise, the rest of the colors are all, I'm not doing the NPIs, I'm just doing the DMCs. And this is where I'm at. I hope that's showing up. It looks more brown on camera, but it is definitely, there, that's a little bit better. It's definitely more of a pink modeling. It's beautiful fabric. I'll get a little bit closer for the design. So that's kind of where we're at. So that 613 kind of pops just a little bit more. And so this is kind of my one that on my lunch break, I'll stitch a row or so because this part of it is all the same. So it's really easy just to kind of do some fill. So that is Birth Sampler, and I'll probably have that done before baby is born, but I'll need to do obviously the name and the date after she's born. Okay, and then this was my beginning of August. I think I started this on August 1st, actually. I'm kind of in the mood for fall. I'm very much a fall girl, but I am not trying to rush it. But I really wanted to do something fun and just kind of be in that little bit of a spirit. And so I started Autumn is Here. And this is by Fairy Wool in the Wood. Again, it's kind of morbid and hilarious. Large mustache mushroom frying up mushrooms. I'm stitching this with all the called for DMCs, and then there were 3 overdyeds that were supposed to be by Romy's Creations. I didn't have those. I didn't have anybody that carried them, and I really wanted to start it. So I picked up some overdyeds that I thought were close at my LNS. And I picked up Classic Colorworks Caroling, Gentle Arts Bayberry, and Classic Colorworks Bramblebush. So I think I got pretty close. I think they'll be really pretty. And I can show you where I'm at. So this is being done on a 36 count cold foam by Stitch Me. I do have this folded in half just to make it fit on the board a little bit nicer. So let's do it this way. And that is where I'm at. So I got the A done, I got that little acorn done, and then now I'm working on this part here, which I think ends up being, it'll just be that one leaf, and then I can work down from here. I can work down into that first big mushroom. So that's where we're at. I really love the fabric on this. It's gonna be perfect. It won't be huge. You can kind of get an idea for like the size. So, you know, corner to corner, it's not gonna be huge, but it'll be nice. But the fabric is fun. I've been waiting for something like that. I was a part of Stitch Me's Fabric of the Month Club and really liked it. But I canceled that one and then changed to, I'm doing Stitchy Boxes Collectors Club for Fiber on a Whim. And I changed it to 40 count instead of 36 count, just to give a little something different, build up my stash a little bit differently. And yeah, so I just changed to that. All right, so those are the 2 starts that I had. Whips, all right. So the first whip that I have is the Snowy Season Cardigan, and this is by MJ's Off the Hook Designs on Etsy. And this is using, the yarn I'm using is by Brava, and it is called Cake Pop Speckled. This is what it'll look like when it's done. I'm doing the short version. So there is, kind of zoom out here, in the pattern, which is really nice. There's also a long version that you can do, but I am doing the short version. And what I finished on this is I am done with the one side. So I have it all the way down, sleeves all the way done. So this is one of the panels. So now I have to do this again. And then how this will come together is it'll actually be, so this is like the back. It'll actually be slip stitched together along the back. And then I'll have the full thing, and then you'll work the front, I believe, is where you'll work like the banding and like the border and stuff like that once it's together like that. So I would say we're halfway. We're probably not. We're probably like, I don't know, maybe it's like a third. Think of it like a third, a third, and a third. So I'm happy. I'm happy with how it's looking, and happy that my stitch count is not off, because I've never made myself anything to wear before. So this is a new endeavor. I don't really know how to just like tiptoe into things. I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to crochet. Why don't I make a sweater? I don't really do anything all that small. So anywho, okay. So the next whip that I have today, oh, I got a fuzzy on it. There we go. Okay. Got a couple fuzzies on it actually. Huh. Okay, let me get those off there because that's gonna bother me. There we go. Okay. So this is Shepherd's Song, a Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Samplers. She's a big girl. We know her. We love her. I'm doing this completely 100% as called for. So this is with the 36 count Hogbristle by Fox and Rabbit, and using all of the called for overdyes. Now last time I showed this, I had finished like most of the top border, and I had just, I think, come down and started like the first couple stitches into the roof. But I am happy to say, one, I'm almost done with page 2. I just have a little bit of the house to start. And 2, I got half the roof done. That is, oh, it's so cool. Oh, the roof has like 4 colors in it, and it's kind of a beast, but now when you see it and see it even far away, the effect it has is amazing. So it's worth it. I love it. I love it. I didn't do any of the back stitch, so on, like in here, there's these 3 little dots. There's back stitch on all of these, but with how much I have left to do, I'm just gonna wait to do that at the end. It's not much back stitch. So that is Shepherd's Song. The only thing I'm thinking of, okay, so on the pattern, there's the dog there. You see it's like black and white speckled. I'm thinking of, so I showed a picture of my dogs before. I'm thinking of doing that in keeping some of the like the black spots, instead of them being black, having those be white, and then using this bramble bush and having it be Trudy's colors instead of black and white. Or like a very variegated brown and doing it, because Goose is like a dark brindle. So I think I might change the colors of the dog. And I might change the color of the hair of the shepherd, because it's kind of this like, it's kind of like a really light brown. So I might change it to a darker brown. Match me. So those are some of the changes I might make. I haven't decided yet. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, if you think it would look good with those changes. I think it would. But I also don't want it to stand out like too much either. Okay. Anywho. All right. The next one I worked on, I feel like I got a lot of stitching done. I've kind of been trying to make sure I spend a little time each night doing it. Wanted some stuff to share. So this was a stitch along that lots of people are doing. And this is from the 2025 Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is the first one. There are 4 installments of this stitch along. Spring and summer are out. Fall has not been released yet, and obviously winter. The fall looks so pretty. So this is Nature's Journey by Sprouting Lupine. And that is spring. It's the first one that came out. I can't really call this a stitch along because I'm so far behind. So I'm calling it like a start along. I started with everybody, just to keep up. And I'm doing this on 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit, which I really like. I have a lot of, I need to trim these edges. I got a little phrase. And this is with all the called for DMCs. If you're stitching this, you know how many there are. And I finished the first flower and got into that stem. So that's where I'm at. Super fun. I love it. It's gorgeous. I'm excited to get those green leaves in there and then work into, like, I really want to get down into this little nest and like the mushrooms and the butterfly, and yeah, so it's beautiful. So I got a little bit of work done on that. When my mom was visiting, we sat outside on the patio for a little bit and I worked on that one. Got a little bit done. She is working on, she has two that I think she's spending most of the time on. I think she's doing Autumn Quaker, and I think she's done with like page, is she 2 pages done? 3? And then she's working on Real Comfort by Plum Street Samplers. And I think she's either on the roof or she's on the house. But she said she needed a break. So she took out her Autumn Quaker. Because if you've seen Real Comfort, you know. She has like all the like leaves done on top. It looks beautiful. But I think she needed a break from it. Okay. Next is Patriotic Matilda. So this is by Finally a Farm Girl on Etsy. That's where I got the pattern anyways. And I am stitching this for my retreat coming up in October. This is the Smalls Exchange. The theme, even though it's October, is patriotic. I'm not typically a patriotic stitcher, but I love doing Smalls Exchanges. So, all right. And I'm doing this on 40 count Dusk by Picture This Plus. It was last month's Fabric of the Month, Fabric of the Month. And with almost all the called for DMCs, I changed out the mouse color because the original color was not, it was kind of ghosting a little bit. I just didn't like the way it looked. I want it to be a little bit more prominent. So that's where she's at. Can't see her eyes a ton under this light. So I came up into here. I think I had this done last time. So I got all of her hat and her ears and all of that done in her face. That's where I'm at. Oh, and I don't know if I showed the whole pattern. That's the whole pattern. Super cute. Love her. So that'll be for my Smalls Exchange. I have no idea how I'm gonna finish it. They kind of finish it like in this like little like, I don't know. It's almost like a little like a bolt, like a, I don't know, container kind of thing. I'd love to find something somewhere to like finish it out like that. That'd be cool. We'll see. And then the last WIP I have, I don't even know if I can call this a WIP. I did such little bit of this, but technically I worked on it, so. And that is Madame Chantilly's Pumpkins collection. It comes with all of those, but I'm doing just the top one right now. And I'm stitching this, I think this is on a, it's either 28 or 32. It's probably whatever's called for because this is before I realized that you could change fabric and it wasn't like a bad rule. The called for, does she say? I don't even think she says in here. So it's either 28 or 32 because I'm stitching it 2 over 2 and there's no way this would fit otherwise. I didn't get all that much more done. I just kind of did some fill on my lunch break on that bottom pumpkin there. So that's where I'm at. And I just started filling more of that white on that bottom pumpkin. That's where we're at. It's a fun one. It's one that I think I changed like my stitching style. I realized that the best thing I could do is actually outline the pumpkins and then just fill. Before I wasn't doing that, and so it was like you really had to be like, oh, how many, you know, where am I? So it's a lot easier to do it that way, which is nice. Okay. I think that's everything that I worked on. Not too many, but enough. And all right, so haul. So my LNS had their tent sale this last weekend. So they had some cross stitch things, some older patterns, nothing that really popped out at me. And then mainly like quilting fabric. And then I just picked up a few other things. So I'll show you what I got. All right, so I picked up this adorable little, what am I trying to call it? Pincushion. It's just cute. It's just adorable. I just thought it was really cute. So I picked that up. And then I picked up, these were half yard cuts of some fabrics. And I just picked those up just to do some project bags. So I figure I'm probably gonna do like this and this together. And then this and this together. Yeah, so picked up those, figured I'd just do a couple project bags with them. I have no idea who the designers are in those. And then I picked up a couple of patterns that weren't on sale, but it's fine. I thought there was one more. I feel like I might be missing one. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so I picked up, this is Stitchy Spot by October House Fiber Arts. Love that. And then I picked up Whatever is Lovely by Artful Offerings. It's not like a Christmas one, but it kind of feels Christmassy to me. But I love it. And then we've seen this one a few times. I might do this. I thought about doing this for someone. We'll see. But this is But First Coffee by Brenda Gervais. I'd love to finish it like that too. It's super cute. And then I picked up, I was kind of in a Christmassy mood, so I picked up Stitch and Be Merry by Tiny Modernist. And I feel like that's just like a fun Christmas small, you know? So I really like that. So that's what I picked up at the sale. And then my fabric of the month came. So my fabric of the month last month came late. They were waiting on their shipment. So this one I was like, oh, it's early, but no, it was actually just on time. So this is 40 count Hydrangea by Fiber on a Whim. She's beautiful. I have no idea what to stitch with this, but it's gorgeous. Just like, it's beautiful. It's a bright, like lilac purple. It's gorgeous. So I'm loving that. I have no plans for that yet, but I'm constantly keeping my eyes out. I may do, so there's a pattern, I think it's by Tiny Modernist, and I think it's called It's a Mermaid's Life, something along those lines. I'm going to Hawaii with two good friends in November. Super excited, kind of a belated celebration. Dad of a friend has a condo there, so it's pretty affordable for us to go. But anyways, I want to do kind of a cross-stitch piece to remember the trip by, and I loved that pattern by Tiny Modernist. And I'm thinking, I don't know, it might look cool on that. I think the called for that pattern is Calypso by Picture This Plus, which is also absolutely gorgeous, like tealy blue, you know, ocean waters. So I don't know, we'll see. And then the last little bit of haul that I have, I think it's the last, yeah. So my mom had picked up off of a D-Stash site some 40 count Lakeside linen in vintage maritime white. She didn't realize that she had bought a fat half of it. And so she's like, you can have a fat quarter. So she gifted me some 40 count of vintage maritime white. It's beautiful. I'm beginning to understand why people rave about Lakeside linens. I don't think I've ever stitched on it. And I have a feeling once I start, that might be all I want to stitch on. But I don't have any plans for it yet. I love it. I do have a couple Brenda Gervais like fall ones that could be really pretty on this. I think one of them is Hickety Pickety. And then the other one that I have is When Pumpkins Glow. I think either of those could be really good on this. So I have Hickety Pickety and When Pumpkins Glow. I have all the threads for them kitted up. I just didn't have fabric yet, so I could probably do both of them on that one piece. Okay, I think that is all the haul. So there are more Nashville releases that have been coming out. I'm gonna throw just kind of a few up here randomly that I'm loving. I know Hello from Liz Matthews came out with this adorable one with, I think it's with ghosts, and it says boo, like in the balloons. It's super cute. And then, oh, what were the other ones? There's one that's something cozy. It's by Sweetwater. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I'm just going to throw a bunch of pictures up here of some ones that I have really been loving. I will try to tag who it is in the captions because I don't remember off the top of my head. But my list keeps getting longer is what I'm trying to say. So if you have a favorite release that you have seen that you are loving and whatnot, I would love to hear about it as to what you're planning, or maybe there's something you've seen out there that I haven't seen yet. So, oh, this was another thing of haul. I forgot this. I ordered these off of Etsy. They're just some floss rings. So I like these ones. They have like they're like the threaded. So these are what I use for most of to put my floss drops on. I really like those. I don't remember who it was on Etsy, but if you want to know, I can get it for you. Okay. All right, so plans. So what do I have planned? I have a couple things. So I would really like to start, though I don't know when, as we're getting into fall, Sleepy Hollow by Hello from Liz Matthews. I've had this pattern for at least a year. It's one of my favorite. I didn't know what I was going to stitch it on, when I would start it. And then last year at the retreat, I was scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or something, and I saw Mystic Fabrics came out with a limited edition piece of linen called Pumpkin Vines. And this is gorgeous fabric. I love it. And I don't want to waste it on like something small. Like I want it to really stand out. So I think I'm going to do Sleepy Hollow on pumpkin vines. I think all the colors would pop off of there. I think it would be great. So I think that's my plan, but I don't know when I'm going to start it. It might be like a retreat start. It might just be, hey, I'm in the mood. It's the first truly feels like fall day. But that is one of the plans to start. I am also, I think I showed this maybe in my first video in my whip parade. I don't know. I am also planning to start Witch's Hollow by the Primitive Needle. Those of you who didn't know, like me, the daughter of the designer of the late designer is re-releasing all her patterns as PDFs. And this was one of my unicorn patterns, and I was so excited to find out I could get my hands on it. So I have my fabric picked out. It is it 36? Yes. 36 count Regency by Picture This Plus, unless something changes. It has a little bit of like that greenish tint to it. I think the called for is Lakeside Linens Vintage Pear or Antique Pear. And those are all the called fors. That real bright green. I haven't fully decided if this is the fabric I want to choose or not, but I have it all ready to go. It's just a matter of time. I'll pull up the pattern in case you have. I feel like everybody's seen it, but I'll pull it up anyways, just in case you haven't. I'm not like fully committed to that fabric, but that is the pattern. And I feel like the fabric I picked is pretty darn close. So I just like this one because like you could just do, like I could set it up as like a motif, week or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it would take me like a year to do. I don't know how many motifs there are. but I would like to start that. And then this one I actually have like a plan for to start. So I asked for feedback on Honey Hill Hamlet by Artful Offerings. And I think this is actually going to be my Labor Day, I guess, BAP, you know, if you want to call it the big project, start, as this is a bigger sampler. And I think this would be perfect because to me, it's kind of like the end of, it's kind of like a summery pattern, but it's, you know, starting it kind of at the end of summer. I did choose the fabric for this, so I am going to do it on 36 count Bestitch Me Willow. And those are the called fors. I love it. So if you are interested in stitching Honey Hill Hamlet with me, I'd love to have you stitch it with me. Otherwise, or start it with me. Otherwise, if you have a plan for a back to school sampler, let me know what it is. I'd love to hear what you're working on or what you're planning. And then the last one I have, okay, I'm gonna ask for advice. Please be nice, but I've never done a mill hill. Nope, never done one. I found this one, I think this might have been last year at the retreat. I think she had it in her store. It's called Christmas Camper. It's adorable. It's so cute. I love it. I already pulled out all the threads on my makeshift color card here, but I separated them all out, got them all labeled. I know which ones they are. I have not separated out the beads, but I would love all of your best advice on how to start and stitch a mill hill. I feel completely paralyzed on how to even start this thing. It's got the perforated paper. Obviously, I need to separate out all these beads. How do you store your beads? What's your favorite thing to use? And what advice do you have? Because I've never done a mill hill, always wanted to, and I love the little camper. So that is a plan in the future, but I want to get like prepped for it if there's something I need, or something that you found works really well. I would love to know about it. Other than that, I think that's all I have for today, for this week. I'm hoping to be back in 2 weeks again. That's my goal. It's kind of every 2 weeks. Gives me enough time to get some stitching done and have some good stuff to show you guys. So I hope that you are enjoying the last bit of summer. I'm sure some of you already have kids that are going back to school. We don't have to worry about that in our house. I always joke around that the dogs, are each grade they're in, and that they're continuing to be homeschooled, and they're not doing very well. We are trying to work on discipline with Bill and Trudy, and it's going over like a lead balloon. Those of you that know bulldogs know they are incredibly easy to train, said no one. So, yeah, that is kind of what's going on in our life. And I'm guessing I'll probably be back probably around Labor Day. So I hope you guys are enjoying your stitching, enjoying the last bit of summer, and thanks again for joining me. Have a good one.